Hi there, this is Kaushik Ranchod from the Ranchod Law Group. I want to welcome you today to our weekly immigration show. I want to thank you for tuning in because you're going to learn about options, what you can do if you didn't get selected for the H-1B lottery, because it is H-1B season. So now many people won't get picked. There's typically an abundant number of applications where there needs to be a lottery. So first of all, let's back up. Why do you file for H-1B? As an employer, file an H-1B application if it is a specialty occupation. So that means that the applicant would have a bachelor's degree or higher, or the equivalent to that. The job would be in a specific specialty. So for instance, software engineer, physician, those are examples of a classic type of job that requires specialized knowledge. Now you might be wondering, well, how many spots are available? There's 65,000 available if you have a bachelor's degree or equivalent, and there's 20,000 additional if you have a master's degree or higher. If you do the math, that's 85,000 spots. That's not that many, especially in this job market right now. What's really important to note is now registration is going on from March 1st to March 18th. So you have to register for a lottery. If you get picked, then you can submit your H-1B application. That leads us to, what do you do if you don't get picked? Well, you still have some options, and that's what we're gonna go over. The first option we're gonna discuss here is optional practical training. This is if you are an F1 student, you've completed your degree, and now you can go and work for an employer in optional practical training. Typically, this is for 12 months, and it needs to be related to what you were studying or what your degree that you obtained. If you have a STEM degree, you can even extend it for 24 months beyond that period. So you have the 12 months STEM degree, an additional 24 months. You also might be eligible for curricular practical training as well. Students should coordinate with the DSO at your school if you're interested in optional practical training or curricular practical training. That's option number one. Let's go on to option number two. Option number two requires you to look at what country are you from, because based off of the fact, if you're from a specific country, you may have another option. For instance, if you're from Australia, you could apply for an E3 visa. If you're from Chile or Singapore, you could apply for an H-1B visa. Both of these are very similar to the H-1B. So this is a great option. You may also want to look at the TN visa as well. If you're from Canada or Mexico, that could be an option for you as well, depending upon what kind of job you would be working in. Now, that's option number two. Look at the country that you're from. Let's move on to option number three. Option number three could be an investor visa. If you invest a substantial amount in a business, going to be creating US jobs, and you qualify because you're from the specific country that qualifies for an E2 investor visa, that could be an option for you too. There's also the visas for extraordinary abilities. So this is the O1A visa. This is the O1B visa. The O1A visa could be a great option if you're at the top of your field, and this would be the top of a field in science, business, athletics, education. You may qualify for an O1 visa. If you're interested in this, I have some videos on the O1A visa to determine if you actually meet the requirements. The other option as well is the O1B visa. The O1B visa is extraordinary ability in the arts or extraordinary ability or achievement in the motion picture and TV industry. You want to look at both of those options as well, because this is another great type of work visa that's not subjected to the cap. Sometimes it's often overlooked. The O1 visa is also a good option if you're in J1 status. You're not able to apply for a J1 waiver immediately. You could apply for the O1 visa as well. It doesn't get rid of the 2-year home residency requirement, but it does temporarily allow you to continue to work in the O1 visa. You will need to get the J1 waiver though later on down the road. All right, let's keep moving here. The J1 visa is a good option if you're gonna do training with the employee. In this situation, you would want them to have at least 1 year of experience and completed a degree or a professional certificate. And you have a training program that you're going to be training that employee on the job. Employers should coordinate with a sponsored agency approved by the Department of State. So it's important that you note that that's an important component of the J1. There's also the H-3 trainee visa, as well as a different type of training option where there's training on the job and they take those skills back to the home country. Now, the last option is my favorite option. This is just jumping straight to the green card. So you could look at the EB-1 option. You could also look at labor certification perm. This option is the most common type of option that employers employ. In this option, you have to test the labor market to show that there's no qualified US workers that can fulfill the requirements for the job. And the way that that's done is through advertising. There also needs to be a prevailing wage determination to demonstrate that the individual will be paid the market wage rate as set forth by the Department of Labor. Then there's the perm filing. After the perm is approved, then the employer can go ahead and file the I-140. If the priority dates are current, you can file the I-140, 485, work authorization, and travel document all at the same time. So this is a great option. It is not an immediate option, however, but it could be a good pathway, especially, for instance, for someone who has more time available to them. So I hope this helped answer your questions. First of all, I hope you get picked in the lottery, but if you don't, here's some other options to look at. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And by watching this video, you're improving yourself. And by improving yourself, you're bettering your family. And by bettering your family, you're bettering our country. Thank you. Bye for now.